nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
I just happened to come across this story, and it's really interesting because I've done stories on Israel and Palestine before. But to be so brazen to say what the Israeli finance minister said, and nobody is talking about it, nobody is calling them out, this is of no concern to anyone, is beyond me. Israeli minister calls for Palestinian town to be wiped out. Israeli colonizers attacked the Palestinian community of Huwara in West Bank. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich said, I wonder how many of us over here in the US would get away with saying that a city or town or the country itself should be destroyed completely. Now, I'm bringing up the Anti Defamation League, ADL, because on its website here, it has a database of hate symbols that people would do if they hate you as a people for absolutely no reason. They say they fight anti Semitism when a lot of people over there are Semitic people. And my thoughts on the people calling themselves Israeli, that's a whole different thing. But then they also have under here, which is the most hypocritical of them all, protect civil rights. What's interesting about that is the finance minister of Israel can say about a town of people that they want them wiped out, they want them destroyed completely. That is men, women, children, babies, pets, all the way down the line, right? And they can say that comfortably about the Palestinians. But over here in New York, because of a movement that is called BDS, not that BDS, it's the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanction movement that came about because of the Israeli Gaza conflict, which is not conflict. It's not conflict at all. This is just Israel, this state, basically wants to take over the land. So, in order to take over the land, what are you going to do with the people? You're either going to displace them or you are going to end them. Now, the movement was launched in 2005 and describes itself as a global movement made up of unions, academic associations, churches, and it's a grassroots movement, and this is around the world. It argues that Israel is illegally occupying Palestinian lands and aim to place international pressure on the country to comply with international law. So the biggest thing about BDS, that's boycott, divestment, sanction, is that they want Israel to comply with international law. Do you see how they try and hold the little people to laws like if you run out of the store with a bag of rice, you could get 20 years, but yet this country gets this special treatment, this preferential treatment to not comply with international law and to stop trying to steal people's land, which I am not surprised that the US has no problem with this, because how could a hypocrite like the United States of America tell them to comply with international law after how they occupied this land, North America? How they came over and they saw and they liked and they murdered and they took. So of course they don't. They're going to be celebrating everything they did when they wiped out dang near all of the native people, kidnapped my people, and did horrible things to my people. They're going to be celebrating all of that. They didn't have to be under subjection to the crown. They were happy about that, but they were more than happy than doling out worse than the crown was giving to them, to other people. Placed it on the basis of because they don't look like us or act like us. Yes, we have a soul, they didn't. They occupied the land, took everything, the gold, took everything, took human beings' bodies. They were human trafficking. They were child X trafficking. Hashtag Christopher Columbus Day. Those opposed to the movement have called BDS anti-Semitic. And then they're saying that this is to delegitimize the state of Israel and it's against Jews. Always crying these fake tears about somebody against them, while on the other hand stabbing Palestinians in the back and taking their ish. What's new under the sun? But 35 states have passed anti-BDS laws by resolution or executive order. And the measures explicitly ban states from doing business with companies that support the movement. The movement that say, I just want you to respect and comply. 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 What do they tell black people? Comply with the law. And this movement is telling them, comply with the law. But America says no, they don't have to comply with the law. So much for ADL's protection of civil rights. States that have passed anti-BDS laws include Tennessee, South Carolina, Illinois, Alabama, Colorado, Indiana, Florida, Arizona, Georgia, Iowa, Rhode Island, New Jersey, California, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Arkansas, Texas, Minnesota, Nevada, Kansas, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Missouri, Idaho, Utah, and West Virginia. Now, the states with executive orders are New York, Maryland, Wisconsin, Louisiana, Kentucky, South Dakota, and the ones that have passed resolution is Virginia, New York, and Iowa. Also, they reach out to the ADL for comment, and obviously they didn't get back to them because what could they say? They say this is their land based on the Bible. But if they actually read the Bible is not literally a landmass per se. It is a people. It is the original people. But I'm not even going to get into that part of it because I already have videos about what I think about that subject. What they're going to say is there was an attack on people. There's crime worldwide. But to use that to say, I want this town completely destroyed has nothing to do with the crime that was committed, which at this point, who knows what to believe? To say that they need to be completely destroyed, I would say America is in agreement with this sentiment since they passed that bill saying it's anti-Semitic, which is not, to ask somebody to comply with international law. And then I would say to this finance minister, be careful what you ask for. Because this has happened many times before where people will sit up here and say they wish something upon a person. They wish something would happen to a group of people. In the end, what you do or what you wish for and hope for and look for, you end up getting that tenfold. Since he represents Israel, and I'm sure Benjamin Netanyahu holds these same sentiments as the U.S., when it's your turn to go through it, just remember these words. because they will come back to haunt you. And it's always worse than what you did or what you sent out. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think about this story. Let me know what you think about this disgusting, deplorable excuse of a person, the finance minister of Israel. Even though there's all this aid, all these tears, all this money, all this military equipment, presidential visits to Ukraine, because it killed them to see blue-eyed, blonde-haired children laying in the streets, littered in the streets, like brown and black people have been for decades. They don't have that same energy for the Palestinian children. I'll see you in the next one.